we've started
you can get
doing
away
that.
with 1 or 2 shots doing that, especially if you get to post and you're like, man, I really just kind of need to make this one work. No big deal. But if that vertical piece is, let's say, 8 shots, you want 6 of the 8 to actually be shot vertically, frame it properly, expose it properly, and not be doing this 3-time punch in to get it right.
And that makes sense. So when it's becoming more and more prevalent, they're adding on these requests to have vertical. Do you see that being asked in addition to, as far as billing goes, and how you're putting in your pitches and your bids for clients, or are they adjusting and understanding that this is extra content, we have to pay for this extra content? Because I'm interested to see how the market's shifting.
It's being integrated into the initial bid and initial ask. I mean, just last week I sent 2 bids that the deliverables, one was a 4 ask deliverable, another one was a 7, and it was just integrated in. So yeah, there's an added cost to that because there's time, multiple hours, or let's say an extra day of editing just to accompany those deliverables. But it's not necessarily being an add-on anymore. It's being asked up front, and when you're sending a bid of X dollars, there's 4 horizontals and 3 verticals, and it's just part of the ask now.
So coming out of the pandemic, I hate dwelling on the pandemic, but I do think it's interesting. We just announced we had our first $1 billion year as our parent company. Awesome. Tampa Bay's been leading the way in tourism since the pandemic ended. Florida as a whole has just been exploding. I don't think we're winning the battle necessarily in feature or narrative scripted television, but commercials, we have come out of the pandemic as one of the top commercial entities in the U.S. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. Have you seen just an explosion in new clients, new productions going on post-pandemic in the Tampa? We'll just say Florida at large.
Sure.
Well, you said that these mics are brand new.
Brand new, yes.
So
it must be working.
Yeah,
Something's working for us.
There we go. I mean, all right. There's a direct correlation.
But I mean, I think we've seen maybe a boom in more of a variety of commercial work since the pandemic. Definitely a lot more commercial work. I mean, we've added a lot of new clients in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
clients that we definitely did not have
the
3 years
correlation.
ago.
Yeah.
Ryan, just from a crew point of view, I think I don't want to be too harsh in film schools, but every college is a film school now, right?
Yeah.
Or some sort of film program. And I think that was extremely popular late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that's when I got in.
And I think it's because equipment was so cost prohibitive to jump into the game. Now it's just become compressed, and now it's super inexpensive to jump in. Do you find that film is becoming more and more, I don't want to say blue collar, but less degree or film school driven, and more just, hey, I was doing this yesterday, but today I really wanted to get into film, so I went out and bought a camera. I learned how to edit, and I just jumped into the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's 100% accurate. I think film school is kind of starting to take a back seat to, I can go on Amazon and buy a camera for a couple $100 and get a decent image out of it, and then you start learning. And I mean, we have an intern program at TSM, and they are in a film school type of program, but it's not to the level of a straight on film school that you're going to go and learn for 4 years. They take some classes, they learn a little bit, but when they come with us, they actually get the real world experience and they learn. And some of them have asked, should I go to a film school or should I just keep doing? I'm like, you're in it now. Why would you go spend a bunch of more money to do what you're already doing? Keep talking to us, keep making connections, go buy some gear. It doesn't have to be expensive. And I mean, even phones now. You can shoot a movie on a phone, And
I don't want to be too harsh. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to get an academic degree.
Absolutely.
To learn how to do things. But at the same time, you're never going to run into the same issues you do on just a day on a set.
Of course.
Right?
Well,
you will learn more just by doing sometimes than you would in 2-3 semesters at a college.
And that's what we tell them. It's the experience that people care about. Can you do it? You're going to have to get up there. You're going to have to mess up a few times, and you'll learn. And if you learn and get better, you'll keep getting hired.
So, I mean, we're in a weird space as a state. I can say this definitively in my role as film commissioner and working on the Film Florida Film Commissioner Council. We have a very aging population of filmmakers, right? People that started out in Miami Vice, know, back in the day that have been here doing this for 35, 40 years. And they're either coming up on a retirement age or an age where unfortunately they're literally just passing on. But then we have this really skewed young new workforce coming up, and there's not a whole lot of in between. What is your overall take on the workforce? And this is for both of you guys, just in Tampa Bay in general. I mean, do you find the talent and the crew that you need, or are you finding that you have to cast a broader net to bring in people from outside?
We don't need to look anywhere outside of Tampa Bay. It's remarkably easy to find any crew position you need here.
The only issue we have is, they're already booked, you know? So we have a good Rolodex. I mean, he just texted me the other day, like, oh, who's that guy we used on this one? Because I know I'm missing somebody I need to reach out to. You know, we have a pretty good Rolodex between everybody that we work with. And no, we're never reaching out past the Tampa Bay area, really, unless we're going to Jacksonville, Miami, and we need a local for something, you know. But even then, it's still Florida based.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because I think sometimes we get a misnomer for people that come in from out of state, like, oh, there's no crew here. It's like, no, there's plenty of crew here. You just either don't know who they are or you can't afford them because they have better opportunities. I'm not going to take $150 a day with no kit. When I can just wait an hour and get a phone call and be making 5 times that.
Absolutely. It's the crew's here. There's absolutely no denying it, and I personally don't like when I hear that same sentiment. And you hear it, you know, I hear it twice a month. You probably hear it significantly more.
Every day almost.
And it's just not accurate.
No, it's not.
It's just plain and simple.
Agree. That's very good to hear. So I appreciate that. So let's look at if you had a crystal ball, the industry's changed so much just in 5 years, God forbid, 10, 20 years. But where do you think we're going in the very near future? I mean, I think Meta was sort of a fizzle. Don't know whether that's going to come back or not. They just announced they have a subscrition fee this morning. I was like, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. For customer service, that's what you're buying for. And $8 a month. It's like Twitter, right? Like, we'll answer your emails and your questions if you pay us.